Chapter 12. The Authority of Calm. Influence is often misunderstood as a kind of force. People imagine it as presence, charisma, certainty in speech, the ability to move a room through confidence alone. Those traits can create momentum, and momentum can look like leadership. But momentum is not the same thing as trust. Momentum can be borrowed from excitement, from fear, from social pressure. Trust is slower. It is earned through repetition, and it tends to settle around a different quality entirely. Calm has authority because it does not need to prove itself. A calm person does not announce calm. They do not perform it. They do not use it as a mask. Calm in this context is not a personality aesthetic. It is a form of reliability. It is the sense that this person will remain usable under changing conditions, that they will not become unpredictable when intensity rises, that their internal weather will not become everyone else's problem. In environments where other people are constantly broadcasting their own state, this reliability stands out. It draws attention without demanding it. Many workplaces quietly run on the management of temperament. People learn who to approach when, how to phrase a request so it doesn't trigger defensiveness, how to time information so it doesn't collide with someone's mood. This is rarely acknowledged directly, but it shapes behavior. It creates delays. It creates dishonesty. It creates a culture where the work is not the only thing being managed. When someone appears who does not require that kind of management, people feel relief before they feel admiration. Relief becomes trust. Trust is what creates durable influence, not the influence of a moment, but the influence that changes how people coordinate around you. People start bringing you the real issue instead of the cleaned-up version. They stop rehearsing as much. They stop testing the water before speaking. They ask what you think without needing you to be dramatic. They are willing to be corrected by you because correction does not feel like humiliation. They are willing to disagree because disagreement does not threaten your stability. Over time, your calm becomes a kind of reference point. It makes the environment more navigable simply by being present. This is why calm often becomes leadership before leadership becomes official. Charisma can win attention quickly, but attention is not always a resource you want. Attention often arrives with projection. People project competence onto charismatic figures, then become disappointed when reality appears. They project certainty onto those who speak confidently, then become anxious when the confidence proves insufficient. Charisma can also provoke resistance because it can feel like manipulation even when it isn't intended. Calm is less provocative. It does not pull people into a story. It gives them room to see their own. The calm person does not need to dominate the emotional field, which is precisely why they become influential within it. Authority, in its most functional sense, is not volume. It is steadiness under load. It is the capacity to remain proportionate when others are escalating. When someone stays proportionate, they introduce a different pace into the room. Pace matters more than most people realize. Emotional environments speed up under stress. People talk faster, interrupt, repeat themselves. They confuse speed with urgency, and urgency with importance. Calm slows the pace just enough for reality to return. The room becomes capable of thought again. A calm person often asks fewer questions, but better ones. They do not ask questions to manage their own anxiety. They ask questions that locate the actual problem. They are less interested in the performance of certainty and more interested in the structure of what is known. When someone is speaking emotionally, the calm person hears content without absorbing the emotional contagion. They can extract signal from noise without needing to punish the noise. This feels rare to others because most people either mirror emotion or resist it. Mirroring escalates. Resistance provokes. Calm contains without compressing. Containment is one of the quiet mechanisms of authority. It is not control over others. It is control over the shape of the conversation. People begin to speak differently around you because they sense that emotional theatrics will not land. They will not get the reward of escalation. They will not get the relief of offloading. They will not be able to push you into making a decision just to end discomfort. In the absence of these rewards, people often become more precise. Their own nervous system settles slightly because it is not being amplified. This is the paradox of calm authority. It does not demand obedience, yet it often produces better coordination than force. Reliability is the substance of that authority. Reliability is not just showing up on time or delivering what you promised. It is also emotional reliability. It is the consistency of your response. It is the feeling that others can predict how you will behave under pressure. Predictability can be a form of intimacy in work because it reduces fear. People do not fear hard conversations as much as they fear unpredictable reactions. If they believe you will respond proportionately, they can engage with the content. If they believe you will explode or withdraw, they start managing you instead of managing the work. Managing a person's volatility is a tax on the entire system. Calm reduces that tax. It creates efficiency by removing the need for emotional planning. A person who is calm does not require a special approach. They do not require others to guess what version of them will show up. They do not create sudden swings that force others to adapt. They make collaboration smoother even when the work is difficult. Over time, people begin associating you with steadiness rather than with mood. That association becomes influence because influence is often the ability to lower friction in the environment. Lower friction is power, especially when everyone else is adding friction without noticing. The authority of calm is also felt in how a person responds to mistakes. Many people treat mistakes as emotional events. They treat them as threats to competence or status. Under that threat, they become defensive or they become punitive. Both responses create fear, and fear makes mistakes more likely. A calm person can treat mistakes as information, not in a cold way, but in a clean way. They can separate the correction from the shame. They can address what needs to change without making someone's nervous system collapse. People remember this more than they remember charisma. Charisma can impress. Calm correction builds trust because it creates psychological safety without needing to talk about it. Safety here does not mean comfort. It means that the environment does not punish honesty. It means people can speak the truth before it becomes a crisis. It means issues surface early. Calm authority tends to produce this environment because it is not reactive to discomfort. It can hold the discomfort of reality being imperfect without trying to escape it through blame or denial. This is also why calm people are often given more responsibility, sometimes without asking for it. Groups naturally move load towards those who can carry it without becoming unstable. Load is not only workload, it is also emotional load. It is uncertainty. It is conflict. It is the need to make decisions that will disappoint someone. Most people can carry load in short bursts. Fewer can carry it continuously without becoming brittle. Calm authority is the signal that you can. Others may not articulate it this way. They simply feel that you will not become chaotic. They feel that you will remain intact. In environments that demand long-term coordination, that feeling becomes influence. It can also become a burden if not handled deliberately. Calm people can become the place others deposit their turbulence. This is one reason calm must include boundaries. Reliability does not mean absorbing everything. It means remaining clear about what you will carry and what you will not. A calm person who has no boundaries becomes a sponge. A calm person with boundaries becomes a pillar. The difference is not attitude, it is clarity about responsibility. Calm authority is strongest when it is paired with this clarity because it prevents the calm from being exploited. There is a distinction between calm and softness that many people miss. Calm can hold firmness without heat. A person can say no without aggression. They can disagree without escalating. They can enforce standards without humiliation. They can be direct without being sharp. This kind of firmness is often more effective than the heated version because it does not create the emotional resistance that heated firmness provokes. When someone is angry, people respond to the anger first and the content second. When someone is calm, the content lands. The message becomes harder to dismiss as mood. This is part of why calm has authority. It removes the easy escape of blaming tone. In workplaces where people are used to emotional leadership, calm can feel unfamiliar. Some may interpret it as detachment or indifference at first. They may even test it by escalating to see if they can get a reaction. If calm is a performance, it breaks. If calm is reliability, it holds. When it holds, the testing often stops. People stop poking the structure when they realize the structure is stable. What remains is a different kind of relationship, one where influence is not obtained through emotional force, but through consistent presence. Presence here does not mean being visible, it means being dependable. Dependability is not dramatic, it is not thrilling, it is not the kind of trait that wins applause in the moment. It is the trait that makes serious work possible over time. Projects that matter are long. They involve setbacks, misunderstanding, fatigue, ambiguity, and compromise. Charisma may launch such projects. Calm reliability carries them. It prevents the project from being derailed by internal turbulence. It keeps people oriented to what can be done instead of to what they fear. Calm also changes what people ask of you. They ask for your judgment because they believe it is less distorted. They ask for your read on situations because they sense you are not pulled into the room's emotional weather. They ask how you would handle a conversation because they believe you will not overreact. Even when you say little, your steadiness becomes a kind of silent counsel. This influence is not created by persuasion, it is created by credibility. Credibility is the residue of being unchanged by pressure in ways that matter. In a culture that worships personality, this kind of influence can look almost invisible, yet it is often the influence that lasts. People eventually tire of emotional leadership because emotional leadership creates emotional debt. It demands attention, it creates swings, it generates exhaustion. Calm reliability creates less debt. It is less expensive to be around. This is why people begin seeking it out. They do not want to be inspired all the time. They want to be able to work. They want clarity. They want stability. They want an environment where effort can accumulate without being constantly interrupted by someone's internal storms. The authority of calm is the authority of a nervous system that does not leak into policy. It is not perfection. It is not the absence of reaction. It is the ability to remain oriented when reaction is present. It is the ability to keep the work primary, the facts clear, the decisions proportionate. Over time, this becomes the kind of power that does not need to compete for attention because it produces something rarer than attention. It produces trust. And trust is what people build around when they are serious about getting something done.